Okay, to start off haul number 51, we've got a new brushless micro. This is Eaglet 85 2S brushless. This is from Gearbest. And we got some spare props here, and I don't know what those are. 3D printed parts of something. Let's see, what do we got here? Okay, not a whole lot in here. No battery, no manual. Got a battery strap here. This kind of looks like the Makerfire Armor 67 that I reviewed about a week or so ago, but bigger motors. This is a bigger frame. That was a 67mm frame. This is an 85mm frame, and it's got some different props here. I'm noticing that these props are curved. These aren't the normal 5-bladed props that I've seen. They usually have a sharp corner. It looks like we got a number of 3D printed parts here. We've got, this is TPU, this is the canopy. I kind of like that canopy. This very nicely, it's kind of curved here to not block off the air ducts. You can see you got plenty of airflow through the props. And I think that's a normal, see the two buttons there. This is like a CM275T camera. Let's see if it has an OSD or not. I don't know. I haven't had to plug it in. Got a 20 by 20. Yeah, it's a 20 by 20 stack here. It's rotated 45 degrees. So it's I think that's to maximize the size. I think this is a 2-inch prop. Not 100% sure. I would say it's a pretty decent prop guard here. It's very stiff, and it has no flex I can feel here. Got some more 3D printed parts here. I think this is 3D printed. You can see there's some lines here. So this is the brace from the arm to the prop guard. So the prop guard is being held there on top of the flight controller, and over here on the arm, the base plate. And you got some 3D printed TPU soft mounts here, so should have some fairly good flight performance. These motors have no markings on them at all, and I don't know what kind of ESCs or flight control this is. I'll obviously talk about that when I do the review, but it's probably like a 10 amp 4-in-1 ESC and omnibus flight controller. That's what a lot of these come with, so I'll have a full review coming up on my channel pretty soon. So we got the another Bo3 here, and I've already reviewed the Bo3, but I think this is a different version of they're saying it's the Pro version. So quickly here, 716, 53,500 kV or RPM motors. It's 1S, 260 milliamp hour battery. We've already seen the review. So this is basically the same as the Bo3, but this Pro version, the Pro version does not have altitude hold. So this is probably going to be more like the E011, and it's got the same very flexible frame with the 7mm motors, and you got that battery here. It's a 260-35C with a JST PH connector. So yeah, I'll do a review on this obviously, but I expect it to fly pretty similar to the E011, so we'll see. Okay, got another Bo3 all-in-one VTX camera. It's the F08. Okay, so they're sending me a replacement for the other one that I got. It was a pre-production version that I had in one of, I think it was Hall 50. That one had an issue where I think they just didn't focus the camera at all. So the camera lens was all blurry, and I couldn't fix that. But this is a all-in-one video transmitter and camera with a DVR like the Yixing DVR3, but this one doesn't have latency, and it's a lot smaller and lighter. But I will do a separate video and review on this pretty soon. This one comes with a whip antenna. The pre-production version came with a circular polarized antenna, although I think they come in 2 different versions anyway. Okay, got another charger here. It's the EVP E6. This is a 1S battery charger. This was supposed to come a while ago. I'm not sure why it took so long. This has already been reviewed quite a bit. It's got a built-in power supply, so you just plug in your power cord here, or you can use a wall adapter, 9 to 12 volts. And it's only for 1S batteries, but you can see it will work with the MCPX, or that's also known as the JST PH connector, the 2.0mm connector. You have the MCX, that's the 1.25mm connector, or the tiny whip battery. And you got a JST, regular JST connector here, they call it a BEC, and then you have the Molex, which is also known as micro low-C. So you got all of those, and probably you can do some different 1S batteries if you have little adapters, because this is just 1S voltage. You get 4 channels, so you can charge 4 different batteries at the same time, and probably different voltages, and you can change from LiPo 4.2 volts or lithium high voltage, which is 4.35 volts. Yeah, pretty cool. Do a full review later. It's a 4-button charger, so it's probably going to be working pretty similar to a lot of other 4-button chargers, but obviously it's just 1S. And you got a couple other little adapters here. This is a EU plug, but they include the adapter for the US plug here for that, and that's for the internal power supply. And then you've got some alligator clips and a barrel connector for connecting it to an external DC power battery. Okay, here's one I've been waiting for a while. I think this was held up because of the EVP Key 6. It's the ISDT D2, it's a dual channel charger, and it's up to 200 watts, 10 amps, 1 to 6S. Basically, they've taken the my favorite charger, I think it was the Q6 Plus, and now they have basically 2 of them here into 1 unit, and has a built-in power supply, so they don't have an external power supply. But let's check it out. It's much heavier than the Q6 Plus. This is obviously not really meant for field charging. This is for at-home charging. And you can see it's a lot bigger. It's got the same wheel here and LCD screen. Obviously you got 2 channels. And you can see the 2 channels here in the front where you have an XT60 connector for your battery and your balance lead. Here on the side you've got the same weird firmware updater plug thing. It's like an audio jack. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. And then you got a USB jack here for charging USB devices at 5 volts, 2 amps. And you got some fans in the back here, and this is your power cord plug. It's got a built-in power supply, so that's why I think this is a lot heavier. This is way heavier, but I think this has got a lot more capabilities. But I'm pretty sure it's going to have the same interface as the Q6 Plus, so I'm looking forward to using this. Obviously, I'll have a full review on my channel pretty soon, so stay tuned. Okay, so we got another micro drone here. It's a FlyEgg 130 from King Kong. And this one is one of the newer ones. If you guys are wondering when the review for the King Kong 110 GT is coming out, it's going to be a little while because one of the motors on that one is not working. So I'm waiting for some new motors for that one. So you'll probably see this review before that. This one is a FlySky version. You see this one comes with either no receiver, you got a FM800, XM, DSM2, or the FlySky RX2A. And this comes with the tub that all the King Kong drones come with. So this has the same 2.3, these are 2.7 inch props that the 110 GT came with. Got some prop guards here, really big ones. Probably not going to be using these. And you got some motor bumpers. I may or may not be using them, I'm not sure. A USB cable. Some rubber bands and video transmitter chart. Got a 350 milliamp hour LiPo with a JST connector. Okay, here's what the drone looks like. It's pretty big, 130 millimeters. So I think it's because of this roll bar cage design here. This is some kind of aluminum, pretty solid. And you got your camera up front here and your video transmitter there. It's pretty similar to the 110 GT and 95 GT, but the flight controller and ESCs are different here. This is more of a Pico BLX standard 20x20 size. You got 4-in-1 10 amp ESC and a Pico BLX flight controller. They actually sell this also individually or separately on its own if you're interested. I'll put links into the description for that as well. But yeah, only comes with the JST. I'm thinking I'm going to have to probably switch this to an XT30. And these motors, I don't know what kV these are. The 1104s, I'm not sure the kV. I think they're 7,000. They're not the 8500s that are on the red ones on the 110 GT. So let's see what the power is like on this one. And they stuck the receiver on the bottom again. I think it would be probably better to put it up here instead of down there. Okay, so this is the LAN Chi Monster 75, and it comes in this kind of interesting, nice looking box. This one seems to be hard to open. Alright, got some instructions. I don't think, well, if you call these instructions. Little specs here, 10 amp BLL SECs, 1104 8000 kV motors. It's the, I don't know if this is a Free Sky or Fly Sky version. LEDs, 500 milliamp hour 2S battery. And yeah, pretty minimalistic. Some tiny props here. I'm not sure what size these are. They're 1630, pretty small. Got some spares, and they include a USB charger. Okay, getting this out is a little bit tricky, and they included the battery down here. Don't know what kind of battery this is. No label on it, but supposedly it's 500 milliamps, but there's no label. JST connector, and 75 millimeters motor to motor. Pretty big motors for this tiny little thing. I think it's a standard 20 by 20 stack, and I think this is the Free Sky version. Well, I guess we'll find out when I do the review. So, not too light, not too heavy either. I'll have to see how this flies with the little tiny props here. But the motors are pretty big at 8,000 kV. 10,000 kV would probably be better for smaller props like this, but we'll see in the review. Okay, got a few more things here. This looks like Banggood frame for 2.5 inch propeller stretched X, and got the TPU canopy, and I think this is a not necessarily a clone, but it looks like a lot like the Atmospheric Adventures Mini A-List 2.5. And here's what that looks like. I haven't even built or opened it yet, but just looking at the frame, you can see it looks quite a bit different actually. It's, the Banggood one's longer and has skinnier arms, and I think the carbon plate's thinner too. So I'll probably do reviews on one of these pretty soon. Not sure when. Got so many ready to flies to review. Gotta build these out. So canopies look fairly similar to each other. So yeah, the price difference isn't all that much different either. I think this is like 25 bucks and this one's like 15 or something like that. So we got a new FTV camera here from Amway, 600 TV line CCD PAL. Here it's saying it's 700 TV line. Which one's the real one? 2.1 millimeter lens, 4.8 to 36 volts. So it's already screwed onto the mounting bracket. Pretty small lens. IR blocked 2.8 millimeters. So you got all kinds of numbers on these boxes. I don't know what's real. 2.1, 2.8. 2.8 pretty narrow field of view. And actually, look at the back here, you got an OSD connection, and this one has audio, video, ground, and it says there 5 to 35 volts. And I don't know if it's NTC or PAL, might be both. It's like you got a little power cable here maybe. And you got another cable here for maybe connect to a video transmitter. And this is the OSD joystick. It looks like the same, kind of like the same one that comes with the RunCam Swift series. And here's a quick look at the specs. Okay, the last thing I got here is a JST to DC barrel jack connector. And it's just if I want to use like a 2S battery or 3S battery with my Fat Shark goggles, I can use that to power them. So that's just for convenience. I think this is like a couple bucks. Okay, so the new Eachine VR 006 has come in. These are some pretty small goggles. I think they have some 3-inch screens. It's an HD display, but it's not HD. It's like 500 by 300, I believe. Where does it say? Pretty sure it says a 3-inch screen somewhere. There we go. Here's some specs. 1S battery. 164 grams. It doesn't say anything about the screen. It's got 2 antennas, but I don't think it's got real diversity. Okay, well, let's see what's inside. Okay, so you got a head strap here. Looks like you have to put it on yourself. It doesn't come on there. Get an instruction manual. Okay, so you get a USB cable here, and it looks like a AV jack here, audio, video in probably. And looks like you got a couple of antennas. They're shorter than the ones that come with the VRD2 Pros, but it looks the same type, circular polarized and patch, but more stubby. And this is what the goggles look like. These are pretty tiny. And you can't see the screen. Let's turn it on here. Let's see. So the screen doesn't look like it's that small, but I think it's being magnified by the Fresnel lens there. And there's no focus adjuster, obviously. This is super budget, very low key, and yeah, we'll have to see what the image looks like. Stay tuned for the review. Okay guys, so we got the new Cheerson CX-OF, little nano quad. It's got a little Wi-Fi FTV camera in there, but this one has also optical flow sensor on the bottom and also does altitude hold, so it'll maintain its height and its position, so it should be pretty stable. I saw some little preview videos of this, and it seemed pretty stable in terms of recording video. Obviously range is pretty limited, 20 meters, and it's got a little transmitter too, so we'll take a look at that too. Here's a quick look at the little drone here, and it's got the little camera basically on the bottom. That's what the optical flow sensor is, just a little camera. Here's the transmitter. You can see it's super tiny, and these are not real sticks or gimbals, they're just like little sliders. So it'll be kind of interesting how this will, I've never had anything like this, so it'll be interesting how to control this. And I think the phone goes up here somewhere. Yeah, there's a little thing here for the phone. It's kind of cool. It should be pretty interesting, so stay tuned for the review of this one.